Hey Raywin, you want to hear a story? Come here. We're doing this. It's a myth. It's a myth story. Alright, great. So, you know about like Jason and the Argonauts?
I know the name, and I feel like it had something to do with 12.
12 was a good guess. There were 50 heroes. But we're not doing the whole story today because it's really long. I've just been putting off Jason and the Argonauts for ages, and so I'm just going to do it over a while. But I do want to tell you, so Jason was going after the Golden Fleece. You know this bit? Basically, I mean, we'll cover this another time, but the lead-in is that there's this king who has usurped the throne from Aeson, who's Jason's dad. And so Jason one day comes back to like claim the throne. But the king has been warned, like, don't you know that thing from Treasure Island? Like, don't beware the one-legged man. This is beware the one-sandaled man.
How would you have one sandal? Just flopping around, flopping around.
It's not that interesting. It involves a river. Jason shows up, he has one sandal, and the king is like, oh damn, this isn't good. I better like trick him onto an impossible quest and he'll die. And so he says you have to go and get the Golden Fleece. Okay. There's something behind me.
We're hearing about Jason and the Argonauts. Oh.
Yeah. Do you want to hear about Jason and the Argonauts?
The one-sandaled bad guy has sent
Good
him
guy.
to
Jason has one sandal.
Jason has one sandal?
Yeah, the king, the bad guy king, was warned that his death would come from someone with
I
one
thought the
sandal.
bad king had one sandal,
No.
and Jason was sent by the bad guy with the one
No,
sandal.
Jason shows up in town and goes, I'm king now, wearing one sandal. Jason has to go and get the Golden Fleece. But this is the story of why the Golden Fleece is where it is, because it's in Colchis, which is in Asia. So
Okay.
it's way to the east. There's this guy called Athamas, who's a king.
It's just his guy, you know?
Yeah, and he is a little bit Zaphod Beeblebrox because he's kind of a player. But he starts out married to Nephele, which is kind of traditionally the name of a cloud nymph. And she may or may not be the same cloud nymph who's like an exact clone of Hera and who gave birth to the race of centaurs in the form of a rain shower onto the mountainside, which is not how I expected the horse people to happen, but they're there. Athamas
Yes.
married Nephele,
Okay, yes.
and they had two kids
Okay.
who are Phrixus and Helle.
Ah!
Not Hella,
Oh.
Helle.
Hello.
E-double-L-E.
Okay.
But it's also,
Helle.
it's Helle.
Hello.
Helle? That seems wrong, so I'm sticking with Hella. Then for whatever reasons, the marriage doesn't last. They break up. And at some point he marries Eno, who's a totally different woman.
Is Jason woman?
Is Jason what married them? No, Jason's not here.
We're all good, keep going.
Okay, great. In true mythological stepmom fashion,
Yes.
hates the kids that he had before
Of course.
he married her. So she's like, I'm gonna kill these kids, right? But she doesn't want to murder them because that never ends well.
No.
So she's gonna play it smart. So what she does is she, in secret, goes to like all the women of the city and convinces them to like roast the harvest seeds over a fire
Oh.
so that when they're planted, they're not gonna grow anything.
Oh. So
Right.
she's just gonna famine the place.
Yeah, basically. She sets up a famine. She orchestrates a famine.
What a jerk. What a jerk.
I know, she's terrible.
Just slit their throats. Like,
Just kill them.
it's fine.
Have some guts. Literally.
Yeah.
Children's guts. And so there's a famine.
I just don't know how you get everyone on board.
She was pretty close with Dionysus, because she reared him as a baby for a little while, so maybe they were just scared. Either way, famine happens.
Famine.
Yes, and she correctly predicted that Athamas, I keep forgetting his name, sends someone off to talk to the oracle at Delphi to find out what they have to do to eliminate the famine. But Eno, because she's evil, sends someone or goes herself and she intercepts them on the way to Delphi and she bribes them and tells them to go back and say that the only way to end the famine is to sacrifice his kids to Zeus. She's gonna make Athamas kill his own kids, kill Phrixus and Helle himself as like this sacrifice, and that'll be like, oh, and then the next season the harvest will work because no one's been burning their seeds. Athamas doesn't want to do it, but because all the men in the city don't know what's happened and they've just heard the same prophecy that they have to kill Phrixus and Helle, they're all like, kill your damn kids, dude. And so there's this whole thing, and they're headed towards the sacrificial altar and everything, but then Nephili, their mother, sends a golden ram.
From the clouds.
Well, it just appears, and it's like, it says in a human voice, it's like, come with me if you want to live. It's like a full-on, it appears, and it's like, come kids, you're about to be sacrificed, we must flee. So, I just thought of that then. I actually just thought of that. Thank you. Thank you. So they hop on board, and it's golden. It was given to her by Hermes.
Okay.
Don't know why, but they like this. And it can fly.
Okay.
So it leaps up into the air and just like rockets off towards Asia, Aslan style, with the kids on its back. Halfway there, there's like some turbulence, and Helle loses her grip, and she gets blown off, and she falls into the strait that became the Hellespont. So there you go, that's why it's called the Hellespont. Actually, I looked it up because I thought that we still called it the Hellespont, and I wanted to see where it is.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
But it's actually the Dardanelles. It's just that, it's like where Gallipoli was.
Okay.
Yeah, so she fell into the water there, but it was called the Hellespont for ages, and I thought it was still called the Hellespont. Anyway, so she got some water named after her. Phrixus lives, and the ram flies him all the way to Colchis in Asia, in the east, and they land, and Phrixus is like, damn, ram, you saved me, like I was surely going to die, and you have rescued me, and I'm so grateful. And then he sacrifices the ram to Zeus. Just like pulls out a knife and kills the hero ram. I can't get it out of my head because it's been established that the ram can speak.
That's messed up.
I just keep thinking, oh, well, that's all right, Phrixus. You're stabbing me. He skins it.
Yep.
And he gives that golden fleece, gives it as a gift to Aedes, who's the king of the place. And so Aedes is like, you're welcome to live here until eventually Phrixus dies there of old age. But Aedes is kind of just a paranoid jerk, which will become more apparent in later parts of stories. But he's like the brother of Circe, who turned everyone into pigs in the Odyssey. And they're both the kids of Helios, the Titan god of the sun. So no one can really stop him being a jerk. But yeah, so it's miraculous that he let Phrixus stay there at all. And he just goes and he like dedicates the fleece to Aries and drapes it on the branch of an oak tree in a grove. But then he does guard it with like an unsleeping dragon. So that's pretty cool.
He clearly loves it and values.
Yeah, puts it somewhere he can't even see it, you know. But then there's like this weird footnote at the end of the story where it's like, and then the ram flew into the stars. And I'm like, is it not dead? But it flies into the stars and it becomes the constellation for Aries, the other Aries with an I, like the ram.
Which is, what's it called nowadays?
Aries.
Taurus. No, there you go.
It's Aries. But because it had its golden fleece taken, it's a really dim constellation. Like that's their reasoning for why it's such a faint constellation in the night sky, is because it had its golden fleece taken and this was its reward for its rescue, to be put in the stars. But I'm like, so is it just flying into space skinless? Like, maybe he just sheared it. Maybe he didn't skin it. So the ram became a constellation. One of the few that isn't something killed by Heracles.
But it's not one of the constellations that we go, oh, that's my birth sign.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's a zodiac constellation. Aries. Aries with an I. Aries.
I thought you were talking about Aries that started with an I.
Oh.
I don't know at all what you're talking about.
Well, you're not an Aries.
No.
Yeah. So it's fine. That's the setup for what's going on. And then in the next bit of the story, Jason's going to show up with one shoe. And he's going to have to go and get the fleece.
It's shaping up to be a good story.
Yeah, well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that.
He needs to get a new shoe.
He really does. Footwear. It's important. Hello humans, that was the new myth format. I hope that you enjoyed it. It's something that I mentioned wanting to do like basically a year ago now, a year and a half. It's just something that takes a lot less time to film and a lot less time to edit, which gives me more time to actually draw things to add into the story again. I don't know, I just wanted to mix things up because doing the same thing all the time really starts to get stale, at least on my end. It just makes it harder for me to do it, you know? So hopefully you enjoyed that. We're gonna be covering the Jason and the Argonauts story over the next period of time. No strict schedule. If you did enjoy the video, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. All those things that YouTube enables you to do to let me know that you liked the video. Why am I describing YouTube to you? You use YouTube. There's also the notification bell if you want to click that. I don't like pushing that too often because I think that the subscription button should work and YouTube should just let it work the way it's meant to. But hey, the notification bell is a thing. Apart from that, yeah, I don't know. I'm having a busy month. How's your month? How are you going? Apart from that, I do believe that's it. I'm done. Email this to your grandma and I'll see you some other time.